Hello again everyone, my name is Yogdog and welcome to another episode of Terra Invicta. I'm once again joined by Burnt Pies and we are going to be continuing to play through basically the tutorial for the game. We are still just marvelling at the craziness of the tech tree. It's quite enveloping. I can't draw my attention away from it. I suppose we should actually look at something else.
Yeah, you can get lost in this and it'll just distract you from the game.
Let's put this away from now and we'll return later. And let's come out of there. So we need to gain a control point in a nation, which we set them off, but it didn't actually end the turn last time.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be setting research priorities at the moment as well.
Which was up here. So you can put individual blocks in. Interesting. So we can contribute to global tech research to increase your chances of unlocking private faction projects to research. Certain tab modules and orgs will allow you to pursue multiple private projects at once. That's pretty interesting. I think we're just gonna... I might change it from audience research to something else, depending what else is available. So... operations, management, commercial, and audience research. Which one should we go for, Ben?
I'm imagining that audience is actually going to be most useful early on. The influence resource seems like something we'll be spending to try and gain footholds in places.
I think you're probably right. Plus management research is 1,000. Provides a small bonus to capacity to manage control points without paying an influence maintenance cost. So maybe we transition into getting one of those after a couple of techs, but not straight away, once we've increased our research.
Yeah, once we start seeing an actual cost for holding on to our points, that's when we'd probably look at that one.
The tech tree does. I think these are automatically chosen. I don't think we can have any bearing on them at the minute, unless I think it said if we are the biggest contributor, we get to choose what the next one is.
Yeah, it did seem to say that. It doesn't look like. Well, as the resistance, I imagine we aren't going to be all that. Prompt or all that good at research.
Yeah. Well, I'll stick it into we are not all... Well, is it worth doing that? It's the biggest one. Maybe I should contribute to one of the smaller ones instead. Skywatch would be nice.
I feel like Skywatch isn't particularly useful if we don't have any way to actually respond to those incursions. Mission to space would let us bootstrap into space.
True. That may well be the better one to go for. So it unlocks other techs. So this allows us to see stuff, but if you can see stuff, you can't do anything about it. What's the point? Yeah, we'll put 2 bars into mission to space, I think, and that should do.
On the left-hand side of your interface is the news feed. It will keep you apprised of important events. Sometimes sensitive updates about our operations will also appear in the top left of your screen.
Okay. So we have resistance objectives. We've assigned counselors to missions, completed a mission. Okay. So I think...
This is your main command interface. From here, we can monitor developments across the globe and beyond. send our counselors on missions, direct research and development, and much more. Take some time to familiarize yourself with it.
Okay, so we have resources, we have cash to begin with. Money is used to build components on Earth for space program, acquire counselor orgs, conduct certain financially orientated missions, and support space assets. It's gained from national funding, the spoils priority, organizations, counselor traits, hab modules, and the sale of space resources on Earth. Influence represents political capital and the ability to sway institutions and people to pursuing your goals. It is gained from favourable global public opinion about your faction's ideology, orgs, counselor traits, and hab modules. It's also spent on maintaining your control points each month. Ops or operations is our ability to conduct small-scale combat and espionage operations. It is primarily gained from orgs, but could also come from counselor traits and certain hab modules in an Earth interface orbit. Boost represents the capability to move 10 metric tons of material from Earth's surface to low Earth orbit via rocket launches and other conveyances. Boost can also deliver items to more distant destinations at a significant penalty. This is primarily generated from nations with a space program, but can also come from organizations. Mission Control accounts for all the staff and technical apparatus required to support our operations in space. Insufficient mission control makes it much easier for other factions to seize our space assets and makes accidents far more likely. We may not build or acquire new habs or ships if we do not have any mission control available. Excess mission control is converted to research and money. Research represents the efforts of our scientists and engineers. Unlike other resources, it is not accumulated but immediately distributed according to our research priorities, which are divided between global investigations into new principles and technologies and private engineering projects that only benefit our faction. Control points capacity. Being over the cap costs will result in a daily influence penalty reflected in our nation influence income. Enemy missions targeting our control points will receive a bonus. We may abandon control points to reduce this cost or research projects to increase the cap. We then have the Earth view, the solar system view, the faction counselor. So your counselors are your chief agents on the Earth and later throughout the solar system. Ooh. By going on missions, they can rally nations to your cause, hunt for aliens, or interfere with the operations of other factions. You manage to recruit counselors here. We then have the individual Earth nations, of which there are many. So it doesn't put every single one on Earth, but there is a substantial amount of nations here. And these are the control points, I think. So, as it said in the last episode, it's between 1 to 6. Generally, bigger, more well-developed nations tend to have more control points. Interesting.
And as well as that, all of the control points of a more developed and prosperous nation are harder to take over.
Yeah, we looked at the US in the last one and had a 1% chance of victory. Well, of its success, not necessarily victory. We went for Madagascar instead, because it had a good public appeal for our faction, whereas many of the other ones did not. I wonder what... I'm going to look at a couple of other nations really quick, because I'm intrigued to see Australia, for example. They want to cooperate. Let's go with, I don't know, Japan. They want various exploitable beliefs. I don't know what that one refers to, though. That's the only one I'm not too sure about.
Yeah, it's actually kind of difficult to pin that one down.
Maybe it's that they're not necessarily set on one objective. They will adapt over time, depending on how it goes. Don't know.
Being labelled exploitable does make me think that maybe there's a bit of worrying cult stuff going there.
Could well be, yeah. I've not seen many factions that are actually willing to resist the aliens. Apparently Libya wants to, but they want to destroy the aliens even more. The only one of the major one is the US. Maybe, I don't know, Canada or Mexico or someone. Colombia's not too bad. Maybe we should give Colombia a shot next. 19% is a bigger chunk than most.
Yeah, they do have a much better economy than Madagascar, so I imagine our chance of success won't be quite so high. But certainly that'd be good to pick up on next. And we might well discover as we play through the game that the public opinion doesn't matter as much as I was thinking.
And I'd imagine we can probably steer it in our favour if needed as well. I mean, we'll probably have to deal with rival factions trying to do that too, but there are probably going to be ways in which we can steer it a bit more towards ourselves. Right, so we went through the nations. We got habitats. We have the Tiangong Station. And we have the International Space Station. Interesting. I doubt we have anything too much to deal with them just yet. We got fleets and ship construction. Again, probably not too much we can do here at the minute. Research and development we've already looked at, and then we've got intel, which is probably more to do with other factions than the aliens.
There is an aliens tab up there.
So this shows the site which we sent a councillor to, which was not advanced time yet. Then we've got 6 other factions. I think there's 1 missing here. Servants, Protectorate, Academy, Initiative, Exodus, Humanity First. No, maybe it's all of them. I guess in the aliens is the last faction, and it's not shown on there. And then we have the solar system. Wow, it's very in-depth. So we have the name of the entity, we have what type of entity, we have what it's made of, what resources are there. We have... is that like its location, or how far away it is or something?
Well, AU would be astronomical units, and AU is the distance from Earth to the Sun, so this is presumably the distance from this particular object to the Sun.
And then we did. This is definitely another distance of some kind here. What have we got?
On the subject of the first little distance there, it seems that some of them are showing the distance to their parent planet, if they're a moon of some kind. So you can see Luna's got 384,000 kilometers, and it's showing a picture.
Good shout.
And then Phobos and Deimos for Mars.
So these are all satellites of Jupiter. So it shows how far it is. I think you said from the Sun. I'm very bad at this sort of stuff. So Jupiter is 5.2 AU from the Sun, and then these are however far away from Jupiter. I think that's how it's working.
Yeah, that's what I'd guess. And then the next one seems to be planetary diameter, I think. How big the planet or moon itself is.
Some are very much smaller than others.
Well, some of them are rocks that we barely even notice.
We then have something to do with resources, I think, or potential resources, maybe. So solar power. Something to do with solar power and something to do with mining. And then we have, I think these are going to be various resource types which are actually available there. I mean, this is a sheer guess because it's not coming up with anything when I hover over them. But I think the more chevrons, the better the deposit rare or something.
And if the circle with a line through it probably means that there aren't any there. And we can see those same resources at the top of the screen above the pile of buttons for research and what have you.
So it'll be water, volatiles, base metals, noble metals, and thistles. Interesting. And then we have something here. I don't know what these are, but it looks to be like a banner of some kind. Maybe it's to...
The little banners, I think, were showing HABs of space stations that are in orbit, because I think I recognise those from when you looked at the Tiangong and ISS.
You have a really good memory. That's a really good spot. You are completely correct by the looks of it. So that also shows then... Whoops, wrong one. It was this one, I think. So that shows the habitats and so on. And then... I have no idea what this is at the end.
Yeah, that's very difficult to tell.
I think what they need is like a title or something at the top showing what each column is, and that would help to narrow things down a bit more. But it's probably not important. Whatever it is at the minute, probably doesn't factor in to what we need to do at the minute. So we may learn what it is later on if we see an icon and recognise it from here. I think I'll just come out of that for now then.
This is the nations screen. From here, we can keep tabs on all nations we have control points in, or view data.
So we've already viewed habitats, we've viewed fleets, we've viewed research, intel panel. Oh, okay, so we've got different types of maps. We've got terrain, faction control, faction popularity. So I'm guessing it just shows the primary faction with the most pull there, and it gets brighter of that colour depending on how strong it is there.
Yeah, that's looking very orange, and they are very much thinking of aligning with the Institute there, or Initiative rather.
I'm hoping to see some blue on in our favour, but not much. The closest we can get really is Madagascar, and even that's not really showing up anywhere near as brightly as many of the others. Oh, there's the Tiangong. You can see it orbiting. Oh, you can zoom all the way in as well. Takes a while, but you can zoom all the way in. That's pretty cool. So I need to come out of doing this if possible. Yeah, that's fine. We've got faction popularity, faction control, terrain, nations, population, per capita GDP. Wow, it's red everywhere. except in Europe and North America, I suppose. Control points, military tech level, that will probably be useful. Ah yes, the military powerhouse of Madagascar. I think we chose possibly the worst, well maybe not the worst, but one of the worst nations on Earth for military. That's fine.
Well, we haven't started yet. We can always change our minds. Right there.
I like the idea of getting Madagascar under our control because, well, we can just go hide there if everything goes wrong. Plus, I want to go to Madagascar at some point. Unrest, we'll just leave it in nations for now. The Finder panel here. So this highlights all our bases, councillors, etc. Game time settings, gonna adjust game speed. And we got our objectives.
We should make every effort to understand the nation's social and economic situation so we can best direct its development to support our efforts.
Okay. Direct the portion of its economy that we control. Oh, I can invest in nations by the looks of things. If it belongs to a federation, it'll display here. I wonder whether you can get new federations over time. So France is the leader of the European Union. Oh, it pains me so. Oh, it pains me so.
If you want another little nod to current events, I think there's something going on over in Ukraine.
Oh, so there is. Interesting. I wonder if there's any other events at the minute they've incorporated in.
It's difficult to say because the news hasn't exactly been forthcoming about stuff other than that.
Yeah, there's been nothing about aliens. I wonder if there's something about the Queen dying. I hope not. I really do hope not.
I imagine that's a little bit too recent for even this.
Quite possibly, yeah. Control points, that's fine. Nation overview. Has unrest, GDP. They're currently in a guerrilla war. Policy maneuver. They want to seek peace. They have a military overview. Development, investment points, funding. Education. Nations with higher education scores produce more research. More resistant to extreme propaganda, but gain less cohesion from the unity priority. Cohesion. So we're currently polarised over here in the UK, whereas they're integrated over here. So Libya is fragmented. Iran is dominated. What about, say, I don't know, the US, also polarised? Canada is diverse. Okay. Public opinion, so we've already been looking at that a little bit. Per capita GDP. Inequality. Resource regions in a nation can contribute to inequality. High inequality reduces cohesion as the nation divides into haves and have-nots. Additional info. If you have executive control of a nation, you may launch nuclear strikes against its enemies with a button that appears here. Oh no.
So our goal for this run-through is going to be getting Madagascar nuclear capability, I assume?
Yes, that is exactly going to be the case.
Oh, glorious.
Madagascar can enter space. So we are going to be limited in terms of education at the minute. We are polarized. There is high inequality. Per GDP is relatively low. Our goal is going to make Madagascar as strong as we can. And, like you said, nukes.
And if in the process we manage to kick these damn aliens out of our solar system, that's just an added bonus.
Yes. I think we're ready to start time, maybe? I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's not brought up any extra tutorials for us, so presumably.
Let's quick play. See what happens. So it's going to be the 8th of October.
That's pretty.
It is. See an orbiting Earth and everything. And if we go a bit further out, it's going to be much slower for us, but I'm guessing over time you'll see everything move in the solar system as well. That's really cool. The UN Security Council meets. They've met to discuss the alien arrival. Unfortunately, the hoped-for show of international unity did not materialise, with China, Russia and the United States accusing each other of hiding knowledge about the alien crash and preventing full access to the site. We have an opportunity to shape events to our advantage and even make our case directly to the nations of the world. However, with the eyes of the world on these meetings, our Council's risk of exposure to our enemies is extremely high. We can remain in the shadows, we can quietly steer support to the resistance, or we can deliver our manifesto to the world. I'm voting option 2.
Option 2 sounds safe, but also getting us some influence. Do we get any information on what will happen if we mouse over them at all?
So remain in the shadows, nothing happens. If we quietly support, we get 25 influence, get a small public opinion boost for the resistance around the world, but information about the resistance will be exposed to our enemies. If we go for the deliver manifesto, we get 50 influence, we get a medium-sized opinion boost, but a great deal of information will be exposed to our enemies.
Yeah, I don't think exposing that much information would be a good idea. I think option 2 is a sensible plan as well.
They are here to cleanse our sick world. The aliens are our saviors, and all who oppose them are enemies of the future.
Oh, okay. We've encountered the servants. The group is determined the aliens are divine origin, declared itself our heralds and defenders. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, we did. We'll have to deal with them accordingly. I suspect they're probably going to try and disrupt some of our operations. Just hopefully not straight away. So I think we get... we'll wait till the next event and then I'll finish this episode. It'll be a good stopping point. So it seems to be you're about a quarter of the way through. Oh, we can select a management team. We may now recruit our faction's management team. As we stand up resistance operations, we're selecting our internal management team to help oversee our affairs. While we are gathering personnel from a variety of disciplines, at your direction we will emphasise a particular speciality. So we can go for lobbyists and influencers. which increases monthly influence income by 3. We can go for scientists and engineers, which gives research increase by 15. Officers and operators, operations income increased by 3, or financiers and investors, monthly money income increased by 10. I'm leaning towards lobbyists or scientists.
I'm... Can you actually click on any of the nations behind this window at the moment?
Yep.
Let's have a look at how Madagascar's looking at the moment.
Okay, so...
Because it does kind of seem like...
maybe it needs some investment.
Well, if you have a look at the research that Madagascar's putting out, it does seem
15.
So I don't know how big an impact 15 is going to have.
Let's compare it against, let's say, the United States. 426.2, so it seems quite small in comparison then. Although, I think we get all 15 with just the 1 point there, whereas you only get a small chunk per point, there's 6 of them over in the US. It's still more, but I think that's how it works.
Madagascar is going to contribute practically nothing in terms of money.
The influence would be useful, but 3 monthly influence seems... Yeah, 3 monthly influence isn't much really, is it? Our daily is 2 days worth, basically, a month. Whereas the money by 10, we're essentially doubling our monthly income. That seems to be the biggest one to go for in terms of bang for your buck.
At least given our
choice.
Opening. Yeah.
I think the financiers and investors, I said these two, I think I've changed my mind. I think I prefer the additional money now.
It could be that we are completely barking up the wrong tree and we won't get all of Madagascar's stuff as soon as we take over, but it's worth a look.
Let's go for the financiers, and that will be a good place to stop for this episode. Once again, everyone, thank you very, very much for watching this episode of Terra Invicta with myself and Bernd. Any parting words, Bernd?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited to see how all of the events play out once our missions finish.
I'm also pretty excited about that. I'm also excited about putting Madagascar onto the world stage, so the more we can do to help them, the better. And hopefully we've put our first steps forward to achieve that. And we'll have to see if we can do that in future. But that will be that for this episode. Thank you very, very much for watching, everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful day wherever you may be, and I'll catch you in the next one.